Hi, Barker. Good morning. Let's wait for a few
Yeah,
minutes for others to dial in.
yeah, okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for dialing in, guys. Let's just wait for 1 or 2 minutes for others to dial in, since it's day one, and yeah, we'll start around 6:02 or 6:03. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes, guys. I'm expecting at least 10 more participants to dial in. I don't want to keep interrupting the session.
Sure.
First of all, warm welcome to OIC Training by UnoGeeks. Since it's the first session for your batch, let me introduce myself. This is Prasad. I have around 15 years of real-time work experience. I'm currently working as an integration architect or a specialist at a top US-based product company. Prior to this, I've worked for top US-based consulting companies as an integration specialist. And coming to my experience in OIC, I've been working or dealing with this product for 6 years now. Initially, it was called as ICS. So this OIC was initially released by Oracle as ICS, which stands for Integration Cloud Service. And that product had only the capabilities to build integrations. I've started working in this around 6 years back when Oracle released ICS. And 3 years back, what Oracle did is it has done a bit of a repackaging, and it included a couple of additional cloud services along with ICS into a unified cloud service, and that is what it has released as an Oracle Integration Cloud. So sometimes I often see students getting confused between OIC and ICS, and they ask me what exactly is the difference between them. So initially, the Oracle released the product, this particular product OIC as ICS, and that product only had the capabilities to build integrations. But this product that you're seeing now on screen, OIC, it is a unified cloud service which has a capabilities of building integrations. Okay, yes, you could build integrations, of course, using OIC, but on top of it, you could also build web or mobile applications using VBCS, and you could also build approval process if you need using PCS. And before working in before working in OIC, I used to work in other integration technologies such as SOA, etc. And I also have a very good experience as a Fusion technical consultant. I've done pretty complex implementation projects as a core technical consultant as well. So you could tap on my experience or as an integration specialist plus a Fusion technical consultant. Okay, and I know most of you guys personally. I spoke to you one-on-one, so I would skip the introduction session because it would take out at least 10 minutes from the session. I'll skip that as we know each other well, and I also know the understandings. I also know your understanding from this course. So I would skip this, and let's get started. And before we talk about, and yep, couple of points, guys. I'm putting everyone on mute. That doesn't mean I want to muffle your voice or I don't want you to ask the questions. Absolutely nothing like that. Nothing like that. At any point in time, if you have a question, just unmute yourself, ask the question, and put yourself back on mute. Please ensure that you don't disturb the session. Try to avoid the background noise if possible. Okay, and I'll be going at a moderate pace. Do let me know if you think I'm going too fast or too slow. I'm open to adjust my pace as per the convenience. Okay. And before we talk about what exactly is OIC, let's just spend a few minutes to understand why do we need a product like OIC? What are the integration challenges that exist in today's world, and how can you overcome those integration challenges with OIC? So we'll talk about first the why part. Why do we need a product like OIC in first place? What are the integration challenges that exist in today's world? Everywhere you hear cloud nowadays, right? 15 years back or 10 years back, nobody would have believed that cloud would be so big today. But yeah, what are those new integration challenges that are posed by cloud? We'll go through them first, and then we'll talk about how exactly OIC helps to overcome those integration challenges. What answers does OIC have to overcome those challenges? And if time permits, we'll go through the cloud services or the individual cloud services available in OIC. Yes, we've got the integrations work area, which is the key. And this is where you build integrations to make systems talk to each other. Like it could be a SaaS to SaaS, or SaaS stands for software as a service. It could be connecting ERP cloud with a Salesforce, or it could be connecting Oracle ERP cloud with Oracle HCM cloud, or it could be connecting a cloud application with on-premise application. It doesn't matter. You've got plenty of integration patterns available, plenty of ways you can build, plenty of options available within the integration again to achieve any integration use case under the sun. You would be able to easily achieve it using OIC. That's about the integration component. And most of you might already be aware of the fact that yes, you can build integrations in OIC. But apart from this, you do have a VBCS and a PCS combination. VBCS stands for Visual Builder Cloud Service, and it helps you to build mobile or web applications. And if that web or mobile application that you're building needs an approval process support, say for example, user logs into this application to submit a request, and that should go through the approval process. Then what do you do in such case? You would, in such case, you go to PCS, which stands for Process Cloud Service, and you build an approval process there. Okay, and the way clients use VBCS and PCS is they use these products to build extensions to ERP or HCM cloud. So if you have probably worked in EBS as a technical consultant, or as a functional, it doesn't matter. You would know that you've got all the flexibility you need in EBS, right? You could customize the EBS product left, right, and center, and you could make it work the way client wants it. But that's not the case in ERP cloud. In ERP cloud, your hands are tied. You don't even get to the data. You don't even get access to the database, right? So the fact that you have so many limitations in ERP or HCM cloud, to overcome those limitations, and wherever there was a requirement to build those extensions, clients are making use of these three cloud services together to build those end-to-end flows. And the excellent part with OIC is, and what makes OIC stands out as an integration product is, yes, you do have three cloud services in OIC, which are quite capable of doing their job individually. And not just that, these cloud services can talk to each other as well. Meaning, if I want to build an end-to-end solution, I can do that. And in fact, as part of this course content, we will be covering integration stack first. We'll move on to VBCS after that, and we will come into the PCS and cover cover it as well. So we talk about all the three cloud services we'll cover real-time examples in each of them. But not just that, at the end of it, we will also do an end-to-end flow. It's going to be pretty complex, and I'll show you how that end-to-end flow looks like probably tomorrow. And in that end-to-end flow, I'll show you guys how to build a complex web application in VBCS, and I'll show you how to invoke a complex approval process you build from that VBCS application. And this is, when I say complex, it's pretty complex. I'll show you how those applications look like tomorrow. That should give you an idea. And we're going to build a multi-layer approval process with all the stuff that you need. And after all the approvals are obtained, we will kick off an integration from a PCS. Yes, you can invoke an approval process from VBCS application, and you can invoke an integration from PCS. So it's like these components can talk to each other. VBCS can invoke PCS, PCS can invoke integration, and from integration, you can get the required payload, prepare the required payload, and you can push the data into ERP or HCM cloud. So that way, yes, these three cloud services exist in OIC. They're quite capable of doing their job, and they can also talk to each other. And that makes OIC stand out as an integration product in the market today. Yes, you do have a couple of other products which are I would say one product which is really good called MuleSoft, but that is typically used with a Salesforce implementation projects. If it's an Oracle ERP or HCM implementation project, it cannot be implemented without OIC. Okay, because the fact that you have so many limitations, every ERP cloud implementation projects needs an OIC consultant. And that's why if you just go to LinkedIn and search for OIC jobs, you would definitely not find less than 25,000 jobs at any point in time. And we'll talk about OIC flavors. This is like when clients procure OIC instance, they have to make some choice there. They have to pick up either a standard edition of OIC instance or an enterprise edition. So you might not be doing it in real time, but sometimes clients might reach out to you and ask you what edition they need to go for. So for you to be able to answer that question, we will cover the different editions available in OIC. I'll talk about the differences as well. And I'll walk you through the course content, because I believe people should be aware of what they are signing up for. Okay, so we'll probably these two bits, or probably we might stop around integrations work area today, and we'll cover the remaining bits tomorrow. Let's see how far we'll be able to progress. And the key question, why do we need a product like OIC in first place? So if you, when Salesforce released its first cloud product, first CRM product in the cloud way back in 2009, nobody would have believed that cloud would be so big today. So in fact, if you ask me, Oracle also didn't invest time and energy from 2009, but AWS believed in that, believed in the cloud. It was one of the lead. It was one of the initial cloud adapter, I would say, and that's why if you see, Oracle didn't start investing time and energy or effort into the cloud technologies until late 2014. So AWS has that lead time of 5 years, or that advantage of 5 years, uh, because of which you see that even if you look at any cloud report today, Oracle is in top two or top three, but it is still lagging behind behind only AWS. But it's catching up pretty fast. And if you look at the cloud services offered by Oracle, there are plenty of cloud services available at this point in time. You've got HCM Cloud, ERP Cloud, Sales Cloud, CPQ, SCM. I've just listed on few of them here because there are 20 of them. Yeah, there are 20 plus services. I've listed only the key ones here. Okay, and if you look at the way companies used to operate. So if you talk about a decade ago, what does any company do if they want to get some application up and running up? If they want to buy some application, what would they typically do? They used to buy the required infrastructure. Okay, so they used to buy the storage or the servers that they would need, networking, and after they have the infrastructure on premise, so they would get a DBA team or a maintenance team, not necessarily only a DBA, because you would also need a network specialist, storage admin. So you would get that administration team in place, and you would have that administration team implement or install the applications that they need on the servers that they have bought. And it's like, yeah, and they're also responsible for maintaining it. Okay, clients used to maintain that as well, so they have that responsibility to keep those applications up to date, keep them up and running. So they have to worry about all that stuff. What are the downsides with that approach? The downsides with that approach is, yes, clients need to make a huge upfront investment. They need to buy those servers, and in some cases, the worst part is not the worst part. You might not even know how much of a space you would need, or uh, how much of the server or a compute power you might need. And it is not also easy to scale in or scale out based on a demand, right? And yes, huge upfront investment costs involved. You need to have the DBAs or the maintenance team involved in there. So the maintenance of it is also a headache. So initial investment is a headache. Maintenance of it is also a headache, and it's not easy to scale in or scale out in case you want to ramp up any application. So all those problems used to exist. And if you look at the IT landscape, probably a decade ago, all the applications used to be on premise, and you used to build point-to-point integrations using integration technologies such as SOA, right? So that's how it used to work. And when this cloud wave started with CRM offering its when Salesforce started offering its CRM system in 2009, the clients were skeptical initially to go into cloud. What were the reasons? A data security. Most of the clients, or at least 50% of them, deal with a highly sensitive data. It could be a financial institution. It could be a pharma lab. So what does it mean by moving into cloud? That means that you're putting your data and you're putting your applications in the cloud, on the cloud data center, which means Oracle does have access to your data in case you move into cloud. Or if you move into AWS, yes, they do have a capability to see your data, right? So clients were skeptical about the data security and integrity part. Okay, and another yeah, that was one of the prime reason why clients were initially skeptical to move to cloud. And another reason is, you don't get the kind of flexibility that you get in on-premise applications in cloud. So if you take, say, for example, ERP or HCM cloud itself, you don't even get access to a database in the cloud. Okay, your hands are tied. The customization scope is quite less when compared to on-prem applications. So for these reasons, initially clients were not willing to move into cloud. But later on, yes, those security concerns were addressed, and even when you try to move data into cloud, yeah, there are enough security. There is a robust security framework in place to ensure that nobody intercepts it while the data is in transit, or at rest. So you have all the security concerns were addressed. And then the people started moving into cloud. And this wave started around roughly 7-8 years back. And if you look at the landscape of IT companies today, most of them are already in cloud. Okay, I would say 60 or 70% of them, and the remaining and the rest of the clients, they are midway with their implementation projects. Okay, and when the clients when clients move into cloud, they don't wake up one morning and say that, yeah, let's move all the modules from on-prem application into cloud. They do it in a piecemeal approach. Like if a client is using say 30 modules in EBS, or say if they're using SAP, or if they're using PeopleSoft to manage HRMS, they don't move all the applications into cloud in one shot, because you might probably want to test the product out, right? And that's what you normally do even when you buy something, right? So you want to see, if you want to first verify yourself firsthand if cloud really works for your company. So what they might probably do is they might move some of the modules to the cloud, and they might keep using the remaining modules in the on-prem applications. And what are the incentives or why is it that clients are, or what advantages does clients get by moving into cloud? There are n number of advantages. So it's like it's advantages of cloud computing concept in itself. You don't have to invest all those upfront costs involved in buying the infrastructure. If you have to maintain the applications on premise, you could avoid that completely. All you have to do is you could convert that capital expenditure that you used to that you used to spend initially, that millions of dollars, you could convert them into operational expenditure. So what is a capital investment? If you spend thousands or millions of dollars to buy something, and that becomes a capital asset, then it's called as a capital expenditure. If you talk about on-premise applications or infrastructure, that's nothing but a capital investment, right? Huge investment, which could be easily avoided by moving into cloud. If you move into cloud, what will happen? Yes, there would be that slight license fee involved. I'm not taking that bit out. Yeah, there might be some license cost involved in there, but apart from that, if you start using ERP product, you would only pay for what you use, not just ERP. I refer to Oracle ERP products quite often, ERP or HCM cloud, but whatever concept I explain, it's applicable for any cloud application for that matter. Okay, so you pay for only what you use. And another very good advantage that you get is, you could, if I want to launch 10 servers in Oracle cloud infrastructure, I can do it in less than a minute. If I want to increase it to 100, say for example, I'm launching a web app, and that web app will see quite a bit of a demand in a particular month. Say probably during a year end, I would expect 10 times the number of visitors that I usually get on a yearly basis. So it would be easy for you to scale in and scale out in case you're working from cloud. Yes, you can convert that capital expenditure into operational expenditure, and what you can also do is, you will only pay for what you use, and it will be quite easy for you to scale in and scale out. If you look at this if you look at the cloud only from EBS ERP standpoint, you might not understand these points. But if you talk about deploying a web application, or if you talk about deploying of quite a few other on-prem applications, or move them into cloud, then all the points that I talk about make sense. So it would be easy for you to scale in and scale out. You pay only for what you use, and you convert capital expenditure into operational expenditure. And apart from these three, there are n number of other advantages as well. But for these reasons, clients have started moving into cloud. Okay, and most of them are already in there. And now that you have a diverse IT landscape of the companies, because earlier, if you look at the IT landscape of the companies, it's plain and simple, all on-prem applications, and you used to build point-to-point integrations using SOA. That's how it used to look like, plain and simple. But if you look at the IT landscape of companies now, if I'm running a consulting business, or maybe any manufacturing business, I might be using Salesforce, I might be using ERP cloud, HCM cloud, and I might be using manufacturing modules from EBS, which is running on premise. In such case, what are the integration challenges involved? There are three integration challenges that exist today. Three key challenges, I would say. There would be plenty more. Like, how do you integrate an one Oracle cloud application with another Oracle cloud application? Like, say, for example, how do you integrate Oracle HCM cloud with ERP cloud? Or maybe Sales Cloud with ERP Cloud, SCM Cloud with ERP Cloud. That's one challenge. And how do you integrate a non-Oracle system such as Salesforce with ERP Cloud? If you ask why, there are thousands of clients out there who use Salesforce as their primary CRM system, and they use ERP Cloud to manage their ERP operations. Yes, Salesforce is it's a pretty good, a decent product with it's basically a number one CRM product, no doubt about it, and it's dead cheap when compared to ERP Cloud. Yes, many clients use Salesforce as their primary CRM system, customer relationship management system. And whenever they get a new customer, client would enter it in Salesforce. And when you get a new customer, you would have probably sold something to him, right? You would have probably sold a product or a service to him. And to that, yeah, since you're selling something, you would have to, or when you might probably want to raise a sales order in ERP Cloud, or you might want to create an AR invoice. So if you're probably selling a good to the customer, then you would probably start off the cycle in ERP Cloud by creating a sales order in ERP Cloud, right? Or if you have probably sold a service, you could probably want to create an AR invoice in ERP Cloud. Okay, because yes, clients can use Salesforce to maintain their customers, but since the fact that it is cheap, you cannot try to manage ERP operations in Salesforce. You cannot simply achieve it. Okay, so even though Salesforce claims that it's not just a CRM system, it is good only if you think of it from a CRM standpoint. And if the moment you talk about ERP operations, managing the modules, or getting into a complex features, those features simply doesn't exist in Salesforce. So that's when you would create a customer in Salesforce, but for the same customer, you have to create an AR invoice in ERP Cloud or raise a sales order. How do you do it? Does it make sense to ask the user who has created in Salesforce to please enter it in ERP Cloud as well? It would be ridiculous, right? It's definitely a task that can be automated quite easily, and it makes sense as well, right? So in fact, you could, that's integration challenge too. How do you integrate a non-Oracle systems such as Salesforce with Oracle Cloud application? That's challenge number 2. And what is challenge 3? The fact that some of the modules of the client are sitting in cloud and some of the applications are still sitting on premise. Yes, you would very often come across a need to integrate cloud applications with on-prem applications. We've seen n number of clients who have some modules operating out of ERP Cloud and some modules operating out of EBS. And in such case, how do you integrate a SaaS application? Whenever I say SaaS, replace it with cloud. SaaS stands for software as a service. Okay, so how do you integrate a SaaS application with an on-prem application? That's challenge number 3. So does OIC have an answer to all these 3 questions? Yes, it does have an answer to all the 3 questions. And that is precisely why Oracle is OIC as a product, as a PaaS integration product, platform as a service integration product, is gaining popularity. Okay, so let's go into the next slide. So these are the challenges that I've just explained. Yes, it's legacy style integration used to be too complex. You used to build point-to-point based integrations using integration technologies such as SOA, and the build is complex as well as the maintenance part as well. And it's not quite easy to move data move the data from cloud to on-premise or vice versa. But you have a concept of connectivity agent in OIC, which will help you to achieve that. And you can, no other integration product available in the market today gives you an ability to automate the process with the help of application integration. If you ask me, this is like a deadly combination. It's like combining Java with Oracle database. If you like the analogy from 2 decades back, right? So if no other product has the capability to automate business process along with application integrations, but with OIC you get that functionality because you've got integrations work area as well as PCS. And you've got this point about analytics, which helps clients quite often, or it helps them much But as an integration specialist, we typically don't get into this analytics section. So what Oracle documentation says is, with OIC, I give you an end-to-end view, starting from the beginning to the end. You get a view which is across application, across departmental. You get to see the complete flow, not the local flow, or not the analytics at that particular point in time. But I'm not particularly sure about this, and you don't even have to care about it, because if it's something that you might have probably not used in 6 years, there's very less chance that you might use it in real time. And how does OIC solve these challenges? Point one, yes, how do you building integrations is quite easy in OIC, because OIC follows a configuration based approach. In other words, you could call it as zero code. So if I go back into OIC instance, just logged in here, it doesn't matter. So this is the OIC homepage, and these are the three key cloud services that I've mentioned earlier: integrations, VBCS, and PCS. And it doesn't matter which component you're building, whether it is an integration or a web or mobile application or an approval process. All you do is follow a drag and drop methodology. So if you have to build the integration, all you have to do is you come into the integrations work area, and depending on the integration flow that you're building, say for example, if you have to connect say Salesforce to ERP cloud, what do? You come here, create a couple of connections, and after that you go into the integration flow, and you would create that integration flow using those connections. So it's building integrations or a PCS or a VBCS applications. It's quite easy. All you have to do is, if it's a case of integrations, all you have to do is create the connections, talk to the systems that you want to interact with in an integration flow. So if you're probably if you're probably building a flow, so if you take this use case, the use case that we mentioned earlier, if you want to integrate Salesforce with ERP cloud, how do you proceed in OIC? It's plain and simple. Before you build any integrations, you would first understand what systems you need to interact with. So if it's SFDC to ERP cloud, SFDC stands for Salesforce.com. It's a shortcut with which people refer to Salesforce quite often. If you have to integrate, say, Salesforce to ERP cloud or with ERP cloud, what do? Before you build any integration flow, you have to create the connections with the source as well as the target systems. Okay, so before you build the integration flow, you would know what systems you have to interact with. So if you take this particular flow, what are the systems that you have to interact with? You have to interact with Salesforce and ERP cloud. So the first thing that you need to do is, in OIC or from OIC, you need to establish connectivity with your Salesforce organization and with your ERP cloud instance. And how do you establish that connectivity? You come into Connections tab, you create a connection, and you pick up those adapters and create the connections for the appropriate connection. Say, for example, if you want to integrate Salesforce with ERP cloud, you pick up an adapter called Salesforce, and you go ahead and create a connection. So you pick up a Salesforce adapter, get into the screen, and you create a connection. And if it's a ERP cloud, and if you want to talk to ERP cloud, you have to establish connectivity with it as well. You will pick up ERP cloud adapter, you will go ahead and create the connection. And if you see here, whenever you try to create a connection, you get to see a bunch of adapters there, right? You see a list of adapters. And what are these adapters? So you would see a comprehensive list of adapters here, which will help you to talk to any applications that are typically used at the enterprise level. Okay, so if say for example, if I have to talk to Oracle systems, if you just type in Oracle there. So first of all, what is an adapter? Before we talk about the list of adapters, what is an adapter? You could think of it as what does a power adapter do? You use a charger, right? And what does a power adapter do? All it does is adapts the power based on the device that it charges, right? So you have 5 watt or a 10 watt charger, right? And those adapters, their job is to adapt the message or adapt the charge based on the consumption device. Exactly similar to that, the job of the adapter here is to convert the message into a format that these source systems or these systems understand. As an integration specialist, it would be virtually impossible for you to integrate it, it, it would be virtually impossible for you to understand how each of these systems work. Okay, so you might probably not know how to publish a message to Kafka, or what is Kafka all about, or how to read a message from Kafka, or in what format you need to push a message to it. Or you might probably not know how to interact with SAP Concur, or you might probably not know how to yeah, use any other adapter that you see here. You might probably not know what language that does a MySQL database understands. So that is where the adapters will help you. You have a plenty of adapters available out of the box, and these adapters make your job quite easy as an integration specialist. Because if you want to talk to any of these systems for which you have an adapter, all you have to do is search for that adapter, go ahead and create a connection, and use that connection within the integration flow to achieve the use case. As simple as that. And what types of adapters are available here? If you search for Oracle, you have 20 plus adapters, which will help you to connect to any Oracle system available. You have got 3 database options available. So you could, in fact, 4. So when it comes to Oracle database, it could be a database running on-premise. In such case, you will use this Oracle database connection to connect to it. If you want to talk to an Oracle database sitting in cloud, it could be a DBaaS. DBaaS stands for database as a service. It could be an ATP database or ADW database. Also, any database, as you can make out from the symbol itself, it indicates that it is sitting in cloud. So if you want to connect to any of these database options available in cloud, you use those respective adapters and you connect to that particular database and you start using it. Say, for example, if I want to insert a record into ATP database from an integration flow, what do? I create a connection with this, and then I go ahead and invoke that connection within the integration, and I insert data into the table, or I can invoke a procedure in there. Okay, so that's how you can make use of adapters, and you have got adapters to connect to EBS and other cloud applications as well. If you see, you've got ERP cloud, HCM cloud, you have plenty of cloud applications available. Okay, and if you have, and you also have, you have adapter to talk to SAP, you have adapter to talk to Salesforce, you have adapters to talk to most of the applications that the companies use at an enterprise level. But there could be a scenario where you might have to interact with an application for which you don't have an adapter here. That's pretty much possible. It's not that all the applications have an adapter here. It could be an on-premise application, or it could be an application in the cloud, but you don't have an adapter to talk to that. How do you achieve that integration? How do you establish connectivity with such an application for which you don't have an adapter here? Because unless you establish the connectivity by creating a connection with that application, you won't be able to interact with it in the integration flow, right? So in such cases, you can make use of a SOAP adapter or a REST adapter to achieve that connectivity. So if you have an application for which you don't have an adapter here, you would definitely need to have either a SOAP service or a REST API that you could use to interact with that particular application. And when you have those SOAP services or REST APIs that can help you to interact with that application, you could go ahead and create a connection with that SOAP service or a REST API here. And when you invoke that REST API, and if that API say insert something or create something in that application, yes, you could invoke that REST API here, create a connection, and then you can invoke that connection in the integration or use that connection in the integration flow. So that way you can interact with applications for which you don't have an adapter. Okay, so yeah, we'll see this in quite detail as we progress along in the course. And after you create a connection, what do you do? You typically go into integrations tab and you go ahead and create an integration flow. And if you take, say, for example, the Salesforce to ERP service, what are we doing here? We'll be receiving customer details from a Salesforce. And with those details, we want to create the customer in ERP cloud. And remember, after we build this service, we're going to build this as an app-driven orchestration. It's again a different integration style. I'll spend I'll explain what integration styles are available and when to use which style, probably in a later session. But yes, we build this service which will be automatically invoked from Salesforce as and when a new customer is created. So this will get triggered. And what are we doing in this particular integration? We're trying to invoke a couple of web services to have the customer created in ERP Cloud. A customer is a complex TCA entity, and you need to, if you have to create a customer in ERP Cloud, you have to create a location first, then organization, followed by a customer account. So you don't have a single web service which will help you to create a customer, and that's why we are invoking these services in sequence. And let me just deactivate this service and show you that configuration based approach, what exactly we mean by that. Let me just take down this particular service. Deactivate it. Edit the service. And when you build the integration, when you create an integration, first up, you'll get a blank screen. And after that, all you have to do is as you hover over the line, you will see a plus icon, and you can start building your integration from there. So when you're probably started off with this integration, you would have a blank screen here, and you would see a plus icon like that popping up. And when you click on the plus icon, it gives you an option. It asks you what system you want to talk to, or what action do you want to perform within the integration. You could say that, yeah, if you want to invoke an ATP database, you search for ATP connection. If you want to pick up a file from FTP server and load it in, you search for FTP connection and pick up a file from there. If you want to say, for example, invoke something in ERP Cloud, if you want to load a file into ERP Cloud, you can invoke an ERP Cloud connection. Or if you want to plug in some processing logic, like create a variable or add a loop to loop through a set of records. So you have all the options available here. And the way you do the build is by using a configuration based approach or using the user interface approach. All you have to do is click on the plus icon here and select what system you want to interact with, and then go ahead and use that connection. Of course, when you invoke those connections, say for example, if you want to, we want to create a customer, and for a customer to get created, the first step is to create a location. So what do you do? What we have done here, we have selected, we have used the ERP Cloud connection here, and we were invoking a create location service. And when you invoke it, in these nodes that you see, or in the endpoints that you are invoking, you would just mention what web service you want to invoke. And of course, that web service needs input to be passed in, right? So for a location to be created, you have to mention with what address the location needs to be created. And that details you will get from a Salesforce system. And but the difference would be that the address fields in Salesforce might not be there with the same name as address fields in the create location service. And that is where these mappers come into picture. You see these mappers are called transform components. And these components will help you to map the fields from a source system into a target system. So if you look at this mapper, just to give you a quick sneak peek into it. On the source side, you will see the feed that you get from Salesforce, and on the target side, you would see what is the data that you need to pass to the location service. On the location service, so this is the feed you get from Salesforce side, and on the Salesforce, the address fields are called as billing street, billing postal code, or billing country. But on the location, on the create location, or when you invoke a create location service, you have to pass in these fields, a country, address 1, address 2. So you have to map the fields from the source to the target, so that a location gets created in ERP Cloud with these details, with these address details you have received from Salesforce. So whenever you need to map the payload from source to target, you would have to do it quite often, and that's when you use this mapper component. And whether you're building an integration, or whether you're adding a connection, adding a mapper, or whether you're implementing logic into the integration. So for example, let me show you one more integration. Okay, So this is again one of the services that we're going to build as part of the training course. So if you see here, so even though you're building such a complex integration flow, you wouldn't even write a single line of code. All you have to do is create an integration, and depending on what exactly you want to perform within that integration, you just put your mouse on top of that plus icon and you say what you want to do. Okay, so you want to create a variable or initiate a loop or kick off a job. So if you look at this particular integration, what are we doing here? We're receiving a journal payload from the client. This is basically a service which will import journals into ERP cloud. We're receiving a payload from the client. We are invoking journal import service. We are kicking off ESS job here. We are creating a variable, initializing a while loop. And within the while loop, we're doing a complex processing there. We're basically making this service wait till the ESS job completes. And based on the job completion status, we're sending out a notification. Okay, just to give you a high level overview of how the integrations or the orchestration flows that you build will look like in OIC. And yes, it doesn't matter whether you're building integrations which are this complex or a much simpler one that you have seen in Salesforce to ERP, where it was a plain 3 web service invocation. All you would be doing is using a web service based approach, using the configuration based approach. You don't have to write even a single line of code. And whatever I've explained so far, it is applicable for PCS and VBCS as well. Even to build the VBCS web application or mobile application or approval process in PCS, you would still use the same configuration-based approach. Okay. And yes, you use a configuration-based approach, and it's quite easy to integrate on-prem with a cloud applications. In OIC, you've got an option called agent. If you go into integration designer page, you see that there is a connectivity agent available here. So this connectivity agent, it's a unique concept which is available only within OIC, and this will help you to integrate SaaS applications with on-premise applications. There's one integration in the course content wherein we focus exclusively on the agents. We'll show you the end-to-end flow, like how to create an agent group, download it, and install it in on-prem applications. And we will also show you how to use agent within the connection. And we'll show you how to use that connection within the integration to achieve the integration between SaaS and on-prem applications. Okay, and yes, you have those 2 additional cloud services called PCS and VBCS, which will help you to build end-to-end integration flows or end-to-end solution flows, which are not that easy to achieve in other integration products. Okay, and you have that analytics point as well. And that brings us to what is OIC. It is a single unified cloud service, which makes up of 4 key components, in fact. But we, as an integration specialist, you would be dealing with only 3 of them. You can build integrations to make systems talk to each other. You can build a web or mobile applications using VBCS. You can build approval process or any custom business flows within PCS. And apart from these 3 cloud services, you've got analytics section as well, which helps clients from monitoring or analytical standpoint. And all these 4 cloud services put together offered as a single unified cloud service called as OIC. And what is OIC? Is it a SaaS product or a PaaS product? It is a PaaS product, platform as a service product. It's like you buy this product, you buy this platform as a service product, and you build your integrations or web or mobile applications or approval process on top of it to interact with the cloud applications. Okay, so OIC is a PaaS product, and you use it to interact with a SaaS product such as HCM or ERP cloud, and you use it to build extensions to it. Okay, and since it's the first day, I want to leave out a good 10-15 minutes for the questions, guys. So we'll pick up from the integrations tomorrow. So yes, guys, any questions in what we discussed today or anything you would like to understand? Any questions, guys? Any questions in what we covered so far?
So, I Prasad. So here, we don't have this. That if there is any functionality to build our custom adapter, so maybe that we can get from the custom adapter.
Your voice is Yeah, I can barely hear you, but I'll tell you what I've got from you. So what I
Okay,
understood is, can we upload a custom adapter? Is
yeah,
that your
yeah,
question?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
You
Maybe in
don't.
future also, like Oracle has planned to bring this, like
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to typically worry about it because you've got plenty of adapters available here. And even if adapter is not available for the application you want to talk to, most of the applications do have SOAP or REST APIs that will help you to interact with it.
yeah, yeah,
But this adapter list is not exhaustive one. If you go to adapters here, you will notice that there are 3 options available there. Okay, so if you look at the adapter types, so you could go to marketplace. I'll show you what that is tomorrow. You can go in there, and in that Oracle marketplace, you have a pre-built integration flows or adapters available. So if there is no a standard adapter given by Oracle for a particular system, somebody else would have built that adapter and they would have published it to Oracle marketplace. And if you find that adapter which is not available here, you can get it, download it from there, and you could upload it to the OIC instance and you could use it. Okay, private, yes, I believe I haven't done it, or I'm not particularly sure how to upload an adapter here, how to upload an adapter to OIC, but I can probably check and let you know tomorrow. But yeah, most of the cases you would be dealing with the standard adapters. But if required, yes, you can get an adapter available in marketplace if it's not available here. If you need an adapter which is not in this 71 list, then go to marketplace, get it, and upload it here. Or you could also write your own adapter and expose it or use it within OIC. But what language do you need to use to build that adapter? How do you upload it? You could probably do a Google search or search in Metalink for that. But yes, there is that capability available. But believe me, you wouldn't end up in that situation.
okay. Actually, if you are using REST or so, we can able
Yes,
to access some
correct.
specific functionality in this third-party system. We cannot get full. If we have Oracle ERP adapter, so we can able to get full functionality of Oracle ERP connections.
Correct. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Thank
And
you.
one more question I have, Prasad. So we have in Oracle in cloud we have three kind of cloud databases of ADW and DBAS and ADP.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
for which database it will be quite good for developing this VBCS application and
ATP is typically preferred by clients to build VBCS applications or build ATP is typically preferred because each database has its own significance. You've got database as a service. You've got ATP database, which stands for autonomous transaction processing, and you've got ADW database as well, which will help you to it provides you the data warehousing capabilities, autonomous data warehouse database. So if you it all depends on the use case that you're building an application for. If you're probably building it, the applications that we build in VBCS typically are to build or to process transactions. So ATP would be more suited for a VBCS application build or from integrations, and that is what we typically see clients using. Or you could use a DBAS as well. That's okay.
so even if you go for ADW also, we can expose those things into REST and we can continue.
Correct. Yes, that is one of the biggest advantage you get with it. So you could also, so if you go into VBCS, I'll talk about it tomorrow. It comes with an embedded database first.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yesterday session.
Okay, yeah, but you can change this, right? When you change this to ATP database, you could use an ATP or ADW or a DBAS instance here. You could use either of them or one among those three. And when you connect VBCS to an ATP database, you can enable ORDS in that ATP database. What is ORDS? Oracle REST Data Services. You could write a SQL statement, or you could write a PLSQL procedure in ATP database, and you can expose that as a REST API. And that REST API you can use within the application build. So when you're building applications, you can invoke those REST APIs. So that would help you quite often when you do the application build in VBCS. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Jyoti, to answer your question, yes, OIC is a PaaS product. It's platform as a service product. The examples of SaaS is ERP cloud, HCM cloud. So any other ERP product that you see, or any other cloud application from Oracle, yeah, most of them are the SaaS products. Okay, so the simple difference would be that are you getting software as a service, and are you getting a software from a vendor and using it as is, like an ERP or HCM cloud? When you subscribe to them, you get a URL, and it's like a software. You go ahead and use it, and you don't get the customization scope is quite less. But OIC, this is like a platform you're getting from OIC, from Oracle, and you are using that platform to do the build activity yourself. You're getting platform as a service, and you're building applications on top of it, or the components on top of it, be it integration, a web application, or an approval process. Okay, hope that answers your question. Okay, any other questions, guys, from anyone else?
Prasad Bhargav.
Yes, Falcon.
Prasad, what are CX integrations?
It's a customer experience cloud. It makes up of a sales cloud and marketing cloud and other applications. So you could make use of, so all those customer experience related cloud application integrations, they come under a CX experience. Yeah, you have ERP and HCM cloud, right? Similarly, you have customer experience cloud as well. If you build integrations with that cloud application, they're called CX experience cloud.
Okay. So I believe there was a new addition into OIC called B2B. So if you have some information on that one, B2B.
I'll talk about it tomorrow. I haven't used this particular feature, but in some use cases, if you want to exchange a document or scheme or the schemas, say for example, if you want to do those EDA document processing, so I'm not particularly sure about this particular feature. I haven't used that as well. But what I got to know is, or what I know about it is, if you want to exchange documents with the help of EDI, especially, you could click on it. That'll give you the details. Like this will help you to, if you want to see what this B2B is all about. Okay, it helps you to exchange the documents. And the way you do it is you can use EDI documents, or you can exchange EDI documents within OIC by using this B2B service. How do you do it? You create a schema, and then you could upload the documents or create them here. And after you do that, what you do is you use these documents, or you refer to these documents within the integration. In integration, you've got an activity given in there called EDI translate option. And you could use that option within the integration flows wherever you have to deal with a document processing involving EDI. We didn't have this option earlier. This was a new feature that has been added. Okay. EDI processing. If you want to deal with the documents with electronic data interchange, then you would probably be using a B2B service there. You would upload the documents or schemas here first, and then you go into integrations. You have an EDI translate action available in there. You use that to pick up these components. Okay.
Okay. And if you have some time, can you let us know how billing happens in OIC?
Yeah, we'll go through it. We will in one of the sessions, probably a day after tomorrow. I'll show you how to procure OIC instance from OCI, and at that point, I'll talk about the billing. Okay, basically billing works in terms of the number of messages triggered in OIC per hour, and you have to buy message packs. So when clients provision a new OIC instance, they have to say how many 5K message packs they want. I'll cover it in detail, not just some light. I'll cover it in detail when we provision a new OIC instance from OCI.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much for your time, guys. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Prasad.